Isaiah 55, please. I'm going to start with you, Richard. Brother Roy hit it on the head, but he was saying the spirit of Caleb. But we do have another spirit. We do. See, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let the man God here read it first. Go ahead, Brother Richard.
What verse?
I started at verse 1.
Hello, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Read verse 2.
Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
Now that's what God's telling us we can do. You don't need no money to come to Him. You got to go to you go to Walmart broke and see what they do, and put all your groceries up there on the counter, and have the man check them out. And as soon as you get up there, you say, "Well, praise the Lord, bro. Praise the Lord. How you doing? Thank you, thank you." And they look at you like you crazy. It call security, put the groceries in a basket, and send you on your way. But God said, come on. You don't need no money for what I got for you. Your money ain't no good. When we was in our sin, I remember I used to go out with people and they used to tell me, your money ain't no good tonight, bro. It ain't no good because everything is on me. And this is what God is telling us. It's on Him. And we have to start getting this in our mind. What is we worrying about when God say, I'm going to feed you without no money? You going to drink and you don't have to thirst. But steady yet, it's get the end of the month. Got to pay this water bill. Got to pay this light bill. I got enough groceries. Is they gonna continue on with them stamps that they gonna give everybody? Them extra stamps? Is they gonna? Why are we worrying? We going against. He just read it, and we go against it every month. I ain't got nothing but a little money. I don't know. So you don't need money. Your money is no good. But we go against God in all of these areas. See, we need the kind of spirit that aligns itself with God. We need it to where we don't get wrinkles in the forehead. Every time we wake up with a smile. When's the last time you ever done that? Just woke up with a smile. I mean, just woke up and jumped out of bed for no apparent reason than just to get up. You used to do that at one time, didn't you? I mean, you used to get up, man, be just as happy and get up. I mean, go to the bathroom, go in there and make some coffee or get you a bowl of cereal. Nothing was on your mind. So how do we allow the enemy to come in and plant all this stuff that's not of God, and we're supposed to be caretakers? We have allowed them to come in and plant things that we haven't been commissioned to be caretakers of. But we allow them to grow. We manure, we put manure on them, which is the doubt. We treat that better than we treat what God has given us. It makes no sense. And I'm guilty. I'll tell you, I'm guilty. I'm worrying. Well, you know what, man, I got to do this and I got to do that. And he hit me and he said, what you worrying for? I ain't made nothing. I ain't created nothing. I ain't made nothing. So what am I worrying for? He said, cattle on 1,000 hills belong to Him. And I belong to Him. So you think He cares more about the cattle than He does me? Do you think He cares more about the cattle than He cares about you? He formed us with His hands. Think about it. I don't know, some girls was in shop class before. Haven't y'all been in shop class? We've been in shop class. You know, you made your mama that mug or that ashtray. It's supposed to be an ashtray, and God knows what it turned out to be. Or it's supposed to be a mug or whatever, you know, but that was the proudest thing you ever created in your whole life. I mean, you was just, woo, good gracious. I wonder if I can sell these things. And April liked to crochet and knit and stuff, and when you get finished, you look at it, you say, wow, you know, I did this. You see, and he created us. What you thought he said when he finally looked at man? He spoke everything into existence, and then he sat down and he created man. Every stitch, every vessel. And then we turn around and we worry. You know, sometimes that gives me the expression that I'm like somebody that don't understand the meaning of something. Because if I did, I wouldn't worry. I would have a smile on my face all the time. I wouldn't have to worry about what's in the refrigerator because it wouldn't make no difference, because I know in my time of need, he will show up. He'll show up in my time of need. Before I even know I'm hungry, he already showed up. Before I know I'm thirsty, he already showed up. See? All right. Sister Sharon, number 3 and number 4.
Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and a commander to the people.
A commander. He had, you know, David was his pet. And people don't believe that because David got by with more than anybody did. He got by with anything. I mean, the people had to suffer for what David did. It wasn't David that suffered. The people had to suffer. When he did something, and God said, well, what is it? You want me to bring your enemy to the people? You know, you want me to bring a plague? It was the people that suffered. It wasn't David personal for his sin. But if I do something wrong, y'all ain't gonna suffer for it. If I do something worthy of going to prison, guess who's going to prison? Me. Y'all ain't going. So God he favored David a whole lot. He really loved David. And he's gonna put us in the same category. Wow. And all we gotta do is just say, okay, Lord, I'm buying in. I'm buying in. I remember when this Bitcoin thing started getting big. And people saying, well, you know, all you got to do this and do that and do this, and you can buy in and all this right here. And I was like, I'm not doing all that stuff. And now I look back, I kind of wish I had
Not a millionaire.
Yes, there's a bunch of million young ones.
Yeah.
Throwing money away. Man, Lamborghinis. All this old crazy stuff. And I was like, I don't know. That looked like a little bit too much work. You see, but I didn't look ahead. And here God has given us a picture into which we can look ahead and say, okay, I want that. I want that right there. I want to be able to eat and not have to pay. I want to be in a position where I don't have to thirst no more. Think about that. It's hot out there. I'm sweating. I've been sweating all day. I've been drinking bottles and bottles and bottles of water. It's just hot. But I haven't been thirsty. I haven't been thirsty. I just been hot. Have you ever been thirsty? And there wasn't nothing that seemed to quench your thirst.
That's right.
You know, You done drunk water and drunk Coke. I don't like Coke. Drunk Pepsi. I don't like Pepsi. You done drunk all this stuff and it seemed like you just still thirsty. You know, I found out the reason why I was still thirsty because, see, it wasn't that kind of a thirst.
Yeah.
You see, it wasn't a physical thirst what I was thirsty for. I was thirsty for this. I was thirsty for the word. You see, well, spiritually, I was thirsty, but it manifested itself physically.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't paying attention. And I mean, I tried it all. I milk, everything. I mean, I was drinking some of everything. I'm like, man, what is wrong? And he told, it's this. This is what my spirit was thirsty for. And I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So he had to make it that way. But he said, you won't thirst. Nor spiritually, nor physically. All you got to do is get in line. I know sometimes it gets hard. You know, I lay up in the bed and I have my Bible right next to me, and the Lord say, okay, it's time to study. And it's sitting right next to me. I mean, right next to me. I ain't even got to stretch my arm. All I got to do is lean over, and I'm right on top of it. And I'm still sitting there looking at TV. Still sitting there looking at TV. And I ain't said it's time to study. It's time for you to study. And I'm still, you know what I'm saying? I'm disobedient. Until he said again, and I say, okay, click, let's get this thing. I ain't got to move 5 feet, 2 inches, because everything I need is right there. We have to get into that kind of a habit to receive these things. They're for us. You know, what God gonna do with cattle? Anybody ever wondered that? What are you gonna do with cattle? He said, the cattle on 1,000 hills is mine.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing with cattle? You think he coming down here and cutting him a steak out? Mm. You think he grounding him some up for some hamburgers on Wednesday nights? The cattle ain't for him, the cattle is for us.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cattle, it's everything that's in that hill. The trees is on the hill to get lumber to build you a house.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All of that is ours. He don't need it. He got a kingdom.
That's right.
He got a kingdom. He don't need these things. All his wealth here is for us. And we're going to talk about tonight on how to grab it. You ain't stealing it. You just taking ownership of what's yours. See, I can't take my car key and put it in April's car and expect to drive it away. It's not mine. That's hers. Her key fit her car because she's the owner of that car. The same with everybody else. My house key ain't gonna fit her house key. I hope not. Because that's her house. And vice versa. You see what I'm saying? Now God has things for us. Now let's find out how to get this stuff. It's there. We sitting back and we hungry and we thirsty and we tired and we like, man, oh Lord, what's going on? This ain't what's going on. It's that you ain't where you supposed to be. All you got to do is move over an inch. Just one inch. And it's raining down. All you got to do is move over 1 inch. And you can receive. You know, the other day, a gentleman come into church. Matter of fact, I think it was yesterday, coming to church. We was outside. He said, yeah, I finally got me a car in my name. And I told him, I said, well, you know what? I seen you paying your tithes. You paid your tithes last week. Now this week you riding around in a new car. It could work just like that. It could work. Not just the tithes, but you have to line up with the word of God. Not my word. Because I'm sitting in the same position you're sitting in. It's his word that matters. And when we do that, there's no end to the things we can have. You see, a lot of us is on the other side. You know, they sing the song, well, I'm going up the mountain. Well, I done went up, I done stood on the top, and now I'm coming down on the other side. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't got time for all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't sightsee enough. Now it's time to get busy. Now it's time. We're still young enough to where we can enjoy all the things that God has for us.
Yes.
And then we can give them to our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. We can pass it on down the line. I went to a funeral Saturday in Salem, Virginia. A little boy, he was 15 years old. And him and his brother was in the car. And his brother tried to miss a 4x4 and ran into a pole. And it severed his head from his spine, his brother's head from his spine. I mean, it messed him up. It broke all the bones in his face. And I mean, it really messed him up. Boy, 15 years old. Okay? Now, his brother has that guilt that he killed his brother. Okay, now, the mama and the daddy, they so messed up, they can't even comfort the son. The daddy ain't comforting the mama, he ain't comforting nobody.
Right.
I mean, it's all so dysfunctional. Now, he didn't kill his brother. It was his time to go. And I can't explain that to him. Because the church we was in, big mega church, big, beautiful place. The pastor preaching a sermon that didn't make sense. But everybody was yaying and clapping and, oh yeah, he's this and he, and I'm thinking with like, you know what? That don't make no sense. It can't be like that. But the word is in them now. You see, and you ain't getting that out of them because that's what comforts them. You see, they gonna take that word to hell with them because that's what comforts them about that little boy. Now, you can't tell them that what the pastor said was wrong. So who was the wrong person? Make a big mega church, got a coffee shop in the church, and I mean everything. But the word was missing.
Well, he's catering to what the people wanted to hear. Like.
Yeah, but see, it ain't about them.
No, not at that point.
No, it's not about them.
See, people get confused about a funeral. It is a homegoing service for that person that has died. But from that point on, once that service starts, it's really about the people sitting in those
Yeah.
pews.
Well, see,
He's no longer there anymore.
he should have preached to them, but he didn't. He told them, he said, well, you know, he's up in heaven and he's in charge of the youth choir and he's in charge of this and he's in charge of that. And I'm like, he ain't in charge of nothing. They say, well, you know what? Jesus is telling him, well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over little, now I'm going to make you ruler over life. And I'm like, them scriptures don't even go together. They have nothing to do with one another, period. But this is what he put inside of them. And they left out with that. You see what I'm saying? Now, how do you get that out of them so that you can put the real things in? It's hard because it's comfort for them. It's like a big bowl of soup on a cold day. It's a comfort food. But it done them more harm than it did good. Now, Mia, you come along, or y'all come along, and you try to tell them the right thing, they won't accept it. So he did more harm than he did good. You see, that's why I say, if you don't know what's in between these two covers, there's too many people out here doing the wrong things, saying the wrong things. I don't have time because, see, I'm responsible. I don't want nobody's blood on my hands. I got enough to pay for myself. I don't want no more baggage. I don't want nothing from nobody else. I got enough to pay for. All right. Where we at?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not. These shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
Go ahead, number 6.
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
Now, that's the first one. You have to seek God while he may be found. That tells us that there's sometimes he just ain't going to be there. You can call on him all you want. He just ain't going to be there. That's why it's best that when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you sitting up there wondering why am I woke, start praying. Start praying, and I mean start praying. I don't know. You don't know what you're praying about, but you still have to pray. You have to seek him. You have to call his name. You got to do some stuff right then and there because, see, sometimes somebody in trouble.
Yes, amen.
So somebody is in trouble. And the only thing that's separating them is you.
Amen. Oh,
That's the only thing is you. And sometimes we just laying up in the bed like, I don't know where I'm woke. I took my sleeping pill. I drank me some hot milk. I don't know why I'm woke at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because God say, I need you. I need you at this moment. And I want you to pray. But see, when you be praying for them, you also praying for yourself. Because he said, okay, now, that's an obedient child right there. That's an obedient child right there. See, I know what you have need of before you ask. You see, so because when we get up in the morning and we pray, we asking for protection.
Yep.
We asking for a covering.
Yeah.
We protect not only me, but to protect my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. You know, let this one get a job. Let this one get a good test in school. That's what we asking for. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, you praying for somebody else. And God said, well, I know what you're going to pray for when you get up. So I'm going to take care of that right now.
Amen.
I'm going to take care of that right now. Because you was obedient. See, this is how we grab a hold to things. You see, we ain't got to go out there and do no war dance. We ain't got to get out there and jump around and wave our hands. We just have to be obedient. You know, when our turn come up, because it ain't going to happen to everybody, but when our turn come up, we have to do what we're supposed to do. You see people moving and moving and moving, and you're like, wait a minute, why is everybody doing this? Oh, this going on, that's going on. Well, if they told you what they was doing, you'd probably shake your head and say, no, I'm praying and I'm fasting. You see, I ain't waiting for the church to throw on the fast. I'm fasting.
Yeah.
I'm a fast. I'm going to give myself a 3-day fast. I'm going to give myself a 2-day fast. I might just fast for 1 day.
Yeah.
You see? And in that day, I'm calling out names and I'm shouting and I'm crying, and I'm doing whatever is necessary for me to get this thing through. See, it ain't all about in here. We can come in here and we can shout and we can scream, but the best stuff has happened behind closed doors.
Amen.
And it's been manifested here. Yeah, he has showed up here because what has happened behind closed doors, late at night, early in the morning. People like, I don't know what's going on. See, that they say, well, this is a miracle. No, this ain't no miracle. This is hard work here. This is work that has been going on by the children of God. Seek him. He can be found. You know, gold ain't laying everywhere. You got to go out there and find it. It ain't everywhere, because if it was, it wouldn't be that valuable. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be that valuable. And if you can just say, well, okay, Lord, here you go. You say, no, you're gonna have to earn this, bro. you're gonna have to earn my attention. And then, but I don't know if I want to do that. I worked all night and I'm tired, and man, you know, Lord, yeah. Okay, Lord, and then you give it one of those old prayers. Lord, just bless me and watch over me. Okay, you know, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Yeah. It's up to us. It's all up to us. April sitting up there driving that BMW out there. Yeah, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out. Driving that BMW. Because it comes putting in the work. You got to put the work in. Sometimes you don't want to. You know I don't. And if y'all are anything like me, I'll be like, Lord, you know how I feel right now. you know how I feel right now. I ain't even got to tell you. You know, I've been out in that garden. I am tired. I'm laying in the bed. And sometimes it'd be like 10 o'clock. And I'll be like, you know, you need to get down and pray. You know you got to. And it's comfortable. It is so comfortable. I mean, my head sinking in that pillow. And I'm looking at TV, eyes just getting smaller and smaller. And in my mind, you know you need to get down and pray. That's all that keeps going through. You need to get down and pray. And then I just get up, get down, and I'm praying. I ain't saying no fast prayer. I'm praying. I'm praying. Because it's not only me that I'm praying for. And everybody I pray for is important. They are very important. And God is listening. He's listening. He is listening. So that's one of the ways we get to what the things that God has for us. Prayer. At like I said, at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, man, I don't want to be up. Just stop praying. I guarantee you, just stop praying and see what happens. And then when you do hit the bed, I like a light. I mean, you snoring before your head hit the pillow. Be like, who is that? Oh, that's still me. Out. Man, you done a good job. All right, Brother Artie, the next two, please.
Let the wicked forsake his ways, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our God he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord.
There's a difference between the wicked and us. It should be. Yeah. It should be. But then you have to look at it like this. We ain't there yet. We haven't made it there yet, because the things that we was out in the world with, we still got them. They still here. They still right there. They trying to get out every moment of the day. They trying to be number one again. You know, it was a time when we had a bottle, we had a joint, you know, whatever else we have, we had it in our hands, and our hands still remember how that feels. This flesh remember how all of that feels. We fight every day. I don't want to be that person again. I done been there once, so I'm gonna go back for it. I know how the outcome is. Not a good outcome. Been done that already. I'm too old to do those things again. But this flesh, it still wants to do them. But the spirit, God's spirit, say no. But you still think it's that easy? Nope. Nope. I went on my phone to show what I'm talking about. I go on my phone, I'm checking my phone, I'm checking my messages, and I see this number. As a matter of fact, it's got one number and then it's got a number on top of it. And it was from one of those naughty sites. You know, they seen it, say, well, if you want to do this with me, then hit this. Man, I hurried up and got rid of that thing. Because if you don't get rid of it and you leave it there, you going back.
Yeah.
You are going back just to see, and you're going to keep going back until you get rid of it, and I just got rid of it. I don't want to do nothing with you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to do nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's still trying. Even through the phone, he's trying. He's trying here, there. All these ways to try to pull you back. Because he know how good a servant you was before. I was good in my sin. I was fantastic in my sin. You see, you won't hear people say that, but I'll tell you the truth. I was good at what I done, and I was good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I did what I did with a purpose. You know, the truth. It's the truth. God knows the truth. You see, so why shouldn't I give God that same amount? Why shouldn't I run just as hard for Him? And I do. Let me tell you something. If only you knew me then, you'd probably be shaking your head and I'd say, I never believed it. Say, I never believed it. You'd be pinching yourself every day. Saying, that ain't him. Nope, can't be him. But only with God's mercy and God's grace did the change come about. I didn't do nothing on my own. That day I said yes. I said no to one and yes to the other. And the changes started happening. It didn't happen overnight. It took a while. But the change, it was in progress. It was happening. It was happening. Little by little, stuff starting to fall off. You know? And other stuff started to attach itself. It just kept on little by little, by little, by little. I ain't perfected yet. I won't be perfected until I leave here. But I made a good run, bro. And Satan's still trying to say, man, you too good a person to lose. He said, oh man. But I had to go. It wasn't about him. When you finally know the truth, see that's a lot of people don't know the truth. They know of the truth. You know, I've never read Huckleberry Finn. I've never read that book, but I hear people talk about it. Now they know what the book is about. I don't know what the book is about. I don't know how that story actually goes. But I can tell you what people have told me about the book. But when you know, then you know. You know what you have to do. And it's not a maybe today and maybe tomorrow. No, it's today, tomorrow, and every other day. It's about your lifestyle. You important to God. We are the only creatures that are that important. You know, the Bible says, what is he that God made him little lower than the angels and gave him dominion over all his works? That's saying something. That is something. That's saying something right there. You got to understand what that means. The angels was in awe. They're like, wait a minute, you created him to give him all this? You ain't give us nothing. You know, but so what's so special about him? What's so special about man that you did this for him? Because he created us. We are the carekeepers of this whole world. And up to now, we've done a very bad job. Awful job. Just imagine if we kept our house like we keep this world. You wouldn't even have nobody over your house. You'd be like, nope, I'll meet you at the door. Can't let you see this place. Nope. But that's what he's done. He loved us so much, and he want to give us so much. And we sitting up here like, I don't know if he really want me to have that. Minister Davis, you think God want me to have that? You know, I don't know. If somebody kept trying to give you $1,000 and you never took it, and then when you needed $1,000, you got mad because they wouldn't give it to you. Now that sounds kind of crazy, don't it? Because that's what God is doing. He's trying to give you the things you want. It requires an effort. Sometimes the effort is not what we want to put forth, but it requires an effort. All right, the next two, please. Is it your turn, Sister April? Oh, you took your massy off. Wow.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater.
He telling you, I control it all. Don't try to outthink me, because you ain't gonna make it. Just go along with it. You say, your thoughts ain't my thoughts. You say, I'm the one that control the rain. I'm the one that give the rain to the growers, to the sowers, so that you can make bread. But if you don't sow nothing, you can't grow nothing, you can't get no bread. And I'm not talking about tithes. I'm just saying God has gave everybody something. And it's just like the story of the talents. He gave 1 10, he gave 1 5, and he gave 1 1 or 2. The rest took theirs to the changers and made some out of it. The last one took it and buried it. And when he came back for what he had gave, everybody gave him some except for the last one. He said, I know you reap where you didn't sow. So what I did was I took it and buried it, so when you came back, you'll have something. He said, I know I don't reap where I don't sow. That's why I gave that to you. And there's a lot of people with that same position. God has given you something. Something to add to the kingdom. It's not yours. It belongs to the kingdom. His kingdom. Some buried it. But see, what he did was he took it from the one and gave it to the one with the 10. He rewarded him for being what he was supposed to be, doing what he was supposed to do. He rewarded them and told the other one, buddy, what do you say, gnashing of teeth? Yeah. Yeah. So that's he's just telling you. It's there. I've given it to you. What you gonna do with it? what you gonna do with it? When you do what you're supposed to do with it, now we reaching. Now we reaching.
I like that next verse is my favorite one out of that whole chapter.
Go ahead, talk.
No, I can't, I'm not reading it. I guess I could.
You could, sir.
All right then, so be it.
If you want to read it, Richard.
So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper into the end of the thing whereto I sent it.
That's right.
God's word's going to hit its mark. And it's going to do what He says it's going to do.
It's not gonna come back empty. It can't. This is what I tell people. I say, if God says it's gonna be a purple elephant with the neck of a giraffe and the feet of a monkey, it's gonna happen. You might as well just start looking for it because it's gonna be there. It's gonna be right there where He said it's gonna be, and ain't nothing you can do
But
about
are
it.
you gonna be attached to it?
Yeah, you're gonna be attached.
That's where the difference comes at.
Yeah, see, he can't lie. That's why he have to watch his words carefully, because when he says something, it happens. Every time he put Israel in jail, in captivity, they went. Every time he said, "Well, you going into captivity," they went. They didn't say, "Oh, I don't care what you say. I ain't going no place." They went. And they stayed there until the appropriate time, and then they came out. He raised up people to go against them, his own people. So if he'll do that for them, his chosen people, whew, what you think he'll do with us?
Oh, that, I don't know.
What's going on?
That's a short name, right?
Yeah, it's a short. Yeah, Eric gonna come over here later on today and fix it. But you have to understand who you are and where you are in God. Because as long as you walking one step out of tune. Now, Brother Roy know in the military, when you marching, if one person get out of step, he can throw everybody else out.
Yes, sir.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody be all messed up.
You know, I'll tell you this story when we was past week. So we was getting ready for graduation day, right? We was practicing, marching and everything. You know, cause you gonna
Yeah, on the field.
diplomats there and everything. You know? And so we was practicing. So I was out of step. So, but I'm trying my best to blend in and hide being out of step. And so I thought I got by, right? So when he stopped everything, you know what I mean? He got on this one person, this person, and he said, "Davis, if you don't get your so and so in step, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do to you." See what I'm saying? I thought I got by, but he was seeing me the whole time that I was throwing about
You throwing everybody else off. Yeah, I know, man. 'Cause, I was out of step. Now I'm in the back and I'm out of step. And he came back there. He said, "All right, take your weapon, put it up over your head, and run around everybody." They still marching, but I'm still running. I got that M16 over my head, and I'm running around everybody else. Man, I was like, shoot. That was the only time. That was the only time. That right there, I learned my lesson right then and there. But we have to put this thing in perspective. Who you want to be? Who you want to? There's no sense in being a Christian and not get all the things a Christian is supposed to get. That makes no sense. If you work for a company and they tell you they're gonna pay you $15 an hour, okay? And you get your check and they paid you $10 an hour, would you say, "Oh, well, that's all right. That's fine. You know, I got the 10, they can keep the 5 and go along your way"? You wouldn't do that, would you? You'd be screaming and hollering and fighting and telling them, "I want my money." Well, God say, if you would do this, this, and this, I do this, this, and this. So why ain't we claiming it?
But you know how people come to God like the same way a person would come. I give an example. General Motors. And so you go to the CEO of General Motors and you say, well, where's my money? He said, well, do you work for me? You said, no, I don't work for you.
Yeah.
He said, well, are you kin to me? He said, no, you're not kin to me. You know what I mean? He goes through all of these questions, and then you finally realize you don't deserve nothing.
You don't
He's not
deserve
gonna
it.
give you anything.
Yeah.
Do I have a retirement? No, you don't have a retirement.
You ain't got nothing.
Because you didn't do anything. But you come to God and you ask for all of those same things that the man was asking the CEO of General Motors. And you expect him to give it to you. And God says, did you work for me? Do you belong to me? Do all of those things? And your answer is a no. So why should he give you anything?
Well, see,
See what I'm
that's,
saying? But we expect him to do it though.
but see, that's
But
what
it is, they shack up with the devil and expect God to pay the rent.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
That
that's
work-
what
that
that's
don't
why I'm
work.
saying. That's why I'm saying. You know, you have to do these things. You have to align yourself right. When you over here, and the blessings falling right here. Now, and you wonder why you ain't being blessed. Well, move over. That requires an effort to move over to where you're supposed to be. That means you're gonna have to leave some stuff over here. The stuff that's drawing you away, you gotta leave it and get right back over here where you belong. Too much stuff. We done lost too much stuff. People done lost houses. They done lost husbands. They done lost cars. They done lost wives. They done lost all this good stuff that God had in line for them. And then they wonder why I ain't got what I. Well, you know what, God, you promised me. Well, I had it, but you wasn't where you want. The X marks the spot, but you wasn't there. You know, you wasn't there. You over here playing tiddlywinks with something. And I'm talking about I'm right here.
You know what he gives you? He gives you everything that he gives everybody. I'm gonna give you some rain. I'm gonna give you some sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you all the stuff that I give everybody else. But these promises over here, oh no, that belong to people who belong to me.
Yeah. You
But you
got
can have the stuff everybody else get, cause I give it to everybody.
That's what
not a
that's
big deal
what the
to me. I
scripture
give it to
says.
everybody. But these promises over here, those don't belong to you.
Cause you ain't done what you're supposed to do to get them. You ain't where you're supposed to be at. You know, like he said, it rains on the just as well as the unjust. They get the sunshine and the rain and the cool breezes just like everybody else do. You know, but it's some things that we supposed to get that they don't get.
Exactly.
They can't never get it until they change.
You know, I tell people this all the time. They look at me like I'm crazy. If you don't belong to God, you're not supposed to do well.
You ain't.
You're not supposed to do well.
You really,
He
you
tells
really
you that the
ain't.
promises don't belong to you. So how are you supposed to be well? How are you supposed to be happy?
That's
and
true.
All those things. You
That's
see what-
true.
That's why people can have millions and millions of dollars and they're not happy.
They be miserable.
They be miserable.
Big,
Just
just
a miserable
miserable.
person that ain't got a dollar.
You know, that's why I say you wake up in the morning just be just as happy. Wake up, hit the floor, man. You just like, wow, man, you blessed, and you know you blessed. People wake up and be like, oh man, it's Monday. Oh man, it's Tuesday. Oh man, it's Wednesday. When is the weekend coming? What are you talking about? You alive. You have been blessed. You are alive. Get out of bed like you got something to do, and you do. Let's say you have a purpose in life. You got a purpose that can't nobody fulfill but you. But you. Now, if you want to leave it unfinished, that's up to you. Like I say, I played around too long. I played around way too long. And I paid too big a penalty. See, I understand that stuff. Now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And God has blessed me for it. And the reason I don't have the other things is because I haven't positioned myself to get them. See, I tell you about me because it can't nobody do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it. Only person can do something about it is me. That's it. You the only person that can do anything about it. You're the only person that can make up your mind and say, guess what, Lord? From this point on, we're doing this thing.
Yeah.
And then you do it. I remember when I was in my sin, before I would do something, man, I'd be like, okay, now we gonna do this, and you gonna do this, and I was geeking myself up, and you gonna do this, and you gonna do this, and do this, until I finally just built myself up to the point that I did it. But then after I done it, I felt so bad, and I never could understand why. And I when I got saved, I found out why. Because God had been calling me. He had been calling me. And I was just, that's why I had to geek myself up to do it. I had to build myself up to do it. Because he was calling me not to. He was leading me in a different direction.
Yes.
But I was going to do what I wanted to do. And when we do that, we have to pay the penalty. It's like drawing out your 401k early. There's a penalty.
There's a penalty for that.
That's sure
It's a penalty for that.
Yes, sir.
You see, and it's even sometimes it's a penalty for even paying stuff off too early. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now. I mean to tell me you're gonna penalize me for paying this off early? Because now you can't get all the interest that you want, so you're gonna penalize me for it. Ain't that something? Yeah. But it's a, the choice is ours. What is you seeking God for?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, well, I mean, really, what is you seeking God for? You know? Because I like what Pastor did Sunday. Because you had to be truthful. Because that was your opportunity. If you wasn't truthful and you didn't trust the person you was in, then you missed out. You see, we got stuff hid. Well, you know, I just want you to pray for me that I quit looking at these girls, please. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Just pray, please. Or quit looking at these boys and these men. You know, hey, if that's what it is, that's what it is. Because I need help. Don't talk about me. Pray for me. You see, that's what a church is supposed to be. We're supposed to be to the point that you can come to me and tell me something. I ain't gonna judge you. We're gonna pray about this thing. And when you tell me, that's as far as it goes. And when you make your breakthrough, if you want to tell, you can tell all you want.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then now you do, somebody come to you and you do the same thing. But if we can't get there, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. They say if you have an art against our brother, they say go to them. And then if they don't want to listen, then you take somebody else. And if they don't want to listen, then bring them before the church. Nobody brings them before the church. They go to them and they don't listen, and then they just leave it alone. They don't blame it. They don't bring it to the church because they haven't got to the point that they trust the church yet.
Penalty for not
sad.
following protocol.
Yeah, see, and that's what God said. I didn't say it. They haven't got to the point that they comfortable with trusting the church because they're afraid somebody gonna run out here and say, "Guess what I heard in church today? Don't you know that Sister Sherman? Woo, girl, let me tell you this." People, that's why they won't bring it to the church.
Yeah.
How can the church help you unless you bring it to the church?
Well, the church, you know, the thing about the church is though, church has been ran one way for so long. But if God says I gave you apostles, I give you prophets, I give you teachers, I give you pastors, I give you evangelists, and if you only got one of those in your church, then guess what? You only see a tenth of God.
That's right.
So
That's
if you got one, that's all you see is a tenth of God.
Mhm.
Think about it. That's all you see. You're supposed to have that fivefold in place.
A full body
Now
ministry.
the fivefold means a fivefold. So that means you got people in authority. Not just one person in authority, people
See.
in authority. That's how see, if you just got one person in authority, then guess what? Nobody else has trust in anybody else.
Ain't nobody
But you-
trusting
See what I'm saying?
nobody.
But you-
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
So why, so that's why people don't wanna come and say, hey, there's no trust in nobody else.
Well, see, but you have to get past that. But it's got to happen, because if it wasn't important, God would never mentioned it.
No.
He would have never even mentioned it if it wasn't that important, because we are faith. Now we say we faith based. That's what we are. We faith-based Christian. We believe in faith. We believe in God. We believe that God can solve all our problems. Well, sometimes God wants you to do other things. He say, now I'm not going to handle this, but you got people that will handle it for you. But we don't do it. I say, because, you know, me, I don't care. I don't care who you tell. Big deal. Don't bother me none. You can tell anybody you want to tell, because I probably done told them already.
That whole Bible's faith activated.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. But you have to know what's here in order to have your faith charged up and ready to go. What is you believing on? It's like I said about that church I went to. He just brought them scriptures out just like that, and they was like, yeah. Now they believe that. You see what I'm saying? That their faith was in that, and it was wrong. It was dead wrong. You see what I'm saying? They hung their hat on that. Yeah, it might make them feel good for the moment, but when they go around and tell somebody after the funeral, and they go and tell people and say, well, you know what, this is what the preacher said. The preacher said he's up there doing this, and he's up there, and I believe him, and well done, my good and faithful servant, because you've been, you see what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah.
Now the people gonna look at them like, what? Anybody that know the scripture gonna be like, okay.
Well,
All right.
you know the other thing too is that, Mike, is that people don't want to hear the truth.
No, they don't, Brother
They don't
Roy.
wanna hear the truth. So they'll go to somebody where they know that somebody will pacify them to a certain point, make them feel better, and it'll be okay, instead of really telling them the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want the truth, because the only thing he can do is help me. Might make me mad.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
it might make me mad for a
Make me
minute,
mad for a while.
but if you got any kind of common sense, that thing gonna eat on you and eat on you and eat on, and you gonna have to. It's like I always say, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself. You can't do it. I don't care. I don't care how hard you try. You can't lie to you.
Scripture's supposed to cut.
Yeah, it's supposed to, down to the marrow. And so if it hurts, all right. You know, I come in here and you step on my toes, I ain't mad at you. That's God telling me, brother. Okay, now, what you gonna do? You didn't hear it long enough now. What else you want me to do? You want me to point you out? you want me to have them point you out and tell you to change? What you gonna do? Don't get mad and tell the pastor, well, I'm gonna talk to you. Well, you this and Hey, if it's the truth, why you mad?
People gets mad over the truth.
But you ain't no sense in it.
You can lie on them, Brother Mike, and they don't get mad. But
That's
you tell
the
the truth, and then they explode.
You know, it was a thing on Facebook, and it said it's a shame that people get mad. People get mad at everything but sin.
That's true.
And that's true, man. That's true. It said they get mad at everything but sin. Yeah. And that's the truth. You man, you tell the truth, and you're gonna lose a friend. You're gonna lose a family member. You're gonna lose some people. But it's to benefit us. It's to benefit us. It ain't to tear us down. It's to build us up.
Right? But I can tell you, just like you said, you may get mad for a while, but I guarantee you that you'll have more respect for that person that would tell
Yeah.
you the truth than somebody who's just gonna patty cake you.
Yeah.
In the long run, and you may not realize it at first, because you upset, you mad about it.
Yeah, you
But
hot,
down the
buddy.
road, you have more respect for that person that would tell you the truth. Than
Yeah.
that person that just gonna pacify you.
I told you about that guy, Lord told me to apologize to him, and I told him, Lord, I ain't doing it. I say, I ain't doing it, and I didn't do it for a long time, and he told me, say, apologize to that man. I say, I didn't do nothing to him, he did it to me, and finally, I finally ran him down, and I apologized to him. I said, man, look, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And he turned around and said, for what? That made me so mad, man. I was so hot, buddy. I was hot. I was mad. I mean, I was more mad over him saying for what than I was for what he actually did.
Yeah.
And then Lord said, Then I told him. And he said, oh man, no, it wasn't like that. I said, yeah, it was like that. He said, well, okay, I'm sorry. And a couple weeks later, he was dead. He went in for a simple operation on his leg, and he bled out. The doctor didn't do something with one of the arteries, and he bled out. Now if I hadn't, then I still have to carry that. But we got it together, But I was mad when he said, for what? I'm like, for what? All these years I've been mad and driving past you in a blizzard won't pick you up, and I'm going right past where you work at, and I won't pick you up. Yeah. And wearing that Christian coat just as big and proud. Yeah, I'm just like, hey. Yeah, man, hey. I got on all the jewels and all this stuff, man. God loves me, yes. And I'm driving right past him in the pouring down rain. In the blizzard, man. Snow, he walking and I'm driving right past him. Yeah. So I can tell you about me. Yes. Yeah. The Lord got on me though. He wore me out. But it wasn't until I changed, until I saw who I was, then I start like, that ain't right. Because when I say, well, look, I ain't fooling with you, I don't care for you, I'll be like, nope, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna hold on to this. I deserve to feel this way, and I've always been like that. Yeah, you make me mad, okay. And yeah, the Lord just right here in this seat, he just wore me out. I didn't have a word, not one word whatsoever. Had passed over there, Brother Roy over there, and I'm sitting here in the middle, and they just chewed my whole butt up. They chewed me up. I mean, and I wanted to say something so bad.
Totally unexpected.
I'm telling you. I wanted to say some things because I got hot. I was ready to say some stuff. I was ready to say some things, but it was true. Every last word they said was true. But it helped me see me, and for me to change. And just like the first one, this one is dead too. This gentleman died too. COVID got him. You see, so we have to, when people say things and we might get mad, don't get mad, think about it. Is it true? Is it true? Because if it's true, what you mad for? You mad because somebody else know. That's what you're mad for. Because somebody else know about it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, somebody know and they told you about it. Now you mad. So, but that's all right though. We good. We good people. We always be good people. But there's some things we just gotta brush off. We gotta clean the shoulders off and And once we do that, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. God said, my ways is not your ways. And it never will be. Just because we're Christians don't mean that we're infallible.
But you know what, when God really working with you, Mike, when you get to the point, you know, sometimes you'll do something and you'll contemplate it in your mind. And you'll be like, oh, man, that might hurt Adi, that might hurt April, that might hurt Vaughn. But when you get to the point where you know it's gonna hurt God,
Yeah.
then that's when he dealing with you.
That's
Because
it.
that's the person you do not want to disappoint the most. You
That's so
understand
true,
me?
man.
And I don't want to disappoint Adi or Vaughn or April or Mike or nothing. But when you don't want to disappoint God, then that's when you know God is dealing with you for real.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, I can't, I can't do that.
See,
I refuse to disappoint him.
Yeah. See, that's when you know that you've moved up. That you are moving up. You didn't got away from all this other stuff. Now you finna take off then, because God is your primary focus. That's it. Married, single, don't make no difference. God comes first. And when you have a wife or a husband that understands that, when they understand that, and it's not they see that, hey, it's nothing against me.
Right.
It's just the way it should be. And it should be God, man, wife, children, and the wife should put it like that too. She should leave the structure like it is. It's not putting her second class, third class, or anything. It's just the way God made the structure. And if the man is right, then the wife would be right. And it's just that simple. She's not a second class citizen. He's no king or no royalty or nothing like that. Because if he mess up and quit doing what he's supposed to do, guess what? God will move him right on out the way. They'll move him out the way. And in a marriage, it don't make no difference. The man has his relationship with God. The wife have her relationship with God. No matter how things is going, your relationship still stays the same. He's the head, but you still have a relationship with God. You talk things over with him, but guess what? You still have to go to God too. You still have a relationship. If you give up your relationship, guess what? You're gonna drown. You're gonna be asking for help, but ain't nobody there to help you. Crazy. All right, where we at?
Number 12.
Number 12. Who we got number 12? 12 and 13, ma'am.
For you shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to the Lord for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off.
Woo! Good gracious. I mean, that's too much right there. It's taken me 2 classes just to get into that thing. Oh, he say, well, you shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. You ever been peaceful? I remember one time I stayed up in Hilltop and kids was in the house. They was making all kind of noise. They were running around, TV's on, and I was in the house. I was like, man, this is just too much. So I went outside and I was on the side of the house. And I was like, Lord, I need some peace and quiet. And it was like everything was just peaceful, just still. It was so quiet that it scared me. And I jumped up and ran in the house. Because I mean, it was that quiet. It was peaceful. I don't know if you ever been in a situation like that where everything was still. Just peace. I couldn't hear them in the house. I couldn't hear no cars. Couldn't hear no crickets. I couldn't hear nothing. It was just peace. And it scared me because, I mean that kind of peace. But I jumped up and ran in the house where the kids was at making noise. But there is a peace that where there's nothing bothering you at all. I've been there. And if you're not ready for it, it will scare you. It will scare you, but God said you can have that. You can have that. One time I was in my bedroom. My wife was in the bed. She was sleeping. I'm sitting up, and I'm looking at TV. I didn't hear no noise. Wasn't no noise. Wasn't nothing. And I was getting ready to get up to go to the bathroom. And when I got up, and the minute I walked behind the chair, it was this odor. Most beautiful thing I ever smelled in my life. Gorgeous. Oh, if I could have bottled that, I'd be a triple billionaire, a quadrillionaire. It was just beautiful. And then I walked past and it wasn't there. So I walked back and it was right behind my chair. Just that was the only place it was. And it wasn't my wife's cologne. I knew all her perfumes and stuff. It wasn't hers. And I'm just sitting in there and I'm basking. And all of a sudden it just disappeared. Nobody but Jesus. He paid me a visit. At that time I was going through some stuff. And he paid me a visit. The King of Peace paid me a visit. You know, they say the rose of Sharon. Oh, that's a beautiful smell. It is lovely. God, it is lovely. No, and I love my cologne. Don't get me wrong. I love my cologne. But this right here is nothing I've ever smelled before. Never. You can smell all the flowers you want to. You never smell nothing like this before. If you've ever smelled it, you know what I mean. It is gorgeous. It is something. Man, I only smelled it twice in my life, and I like, let me bottle it or something. Let me get something out of it. Let me put something on me or something, because it smelled that good. It's so pure. So with Jesus, the peace you get is pure. He is one of a kind, and it's up to us. Do you trust him enough to give him your all? Do you trust him enough to say, I surrender? Because some say I surrender, and then they give him 85%. They give him 45%, 25%. I'm going to keep this because I don't know what's going to happen next week, and I might have to get out here and do a little something, you know. I might have to do this and do that. I have to move this way. I might have to move that way. So, you know what, Lord, I'm here today in church, but, you know, tomorrow I might have to do something. So you understand. No, you got to give him all, 100%. He has to be everything to you or nothing at all. He won't come in second to nobody. Nobody. If you think he will, try him and see. Try him. Put something before him and see what happened. It was a guy, it was a gentleman, renting a family. He had a beautiful Chrysler 300. Had one of them multicolored paint jobs. I mean, it was just gorgeous. Every time you seen him, he was working on that car, dusting it off. Every time he parked it, he'd get out and start dusting the car off. You know, to go to church, that's all right. Dusting that car off. Yeah. One day, coming down the mountain, lost control, towed the car. Then nothing happened to him. Towed the car up. Towed the car completely up. God moved it out the way. You don't put nothing before God. Whatever it is that you think that you got to put before God, why do you need God? You don't need him.